Today we're looking at Luke chapter 52. It's a passage that we read a lot but don't really notice, but it's a passage which doesn't fit at all well with the idea that Jesus is God. It's a passage that tells us that Jesus increased in wisdom. Let's think about where the passage comes in the Gospel of Luke. So the first two chapters of the Gospel of Luke talk about the birth of Jesus and a little bit about his childhood when he goes to the temple in Jerusalem. He then grows up and we get a picture of the start of his ministry. We get his being baptized, where it starts, and we have its origins in terms of his genealogy, which shows how he's descended from people like David and Abraham. And then it goes on to the start of Jesus' ministry, and we get the rest of the gospel, which talks about Jesus' teaching and the things that he did while he was with us, ending with his crucifixion and resurrection. And the verse we're looking at is right at the end of the accounts of the birth and childhood of Jesus. It's Luke chapter 2 and verse 52. So here's the passage. It says that Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favour with God and man. And that brings a problem for people who want to think that Jesus is God. More than one problem. Let's have a look at what we've got. So the first point is that Jesus increased in wisdom from the age of 12 to the age of 30. It says he increased in wisdom. God, of course, is infinitely wise, so God can't become wiser. So the idea that Jesus increased in wisdom is a bit of a problem if you want to believe that Jesus is God. So Jesus grew wiser, but God doesn't grow wiser, so Jesus can't be God. There's another point that he actually grew in favour with God. Well, it's rather strange. I mean, think about yourself growing in favour with yourself. That's rather odd, saying, how can God increase in favour with God? But Jesus increased in favour with God. And again, if Jesus had been there from eternity, from before the creation, going right through the period from the creation of the universe up to the present day, or up to the time of him starting his ministry in this verse, the idea that at that point he would grow in favour with himself seems rather odd. Even a person in the Godhead wouldn't be increasing in favour in a mere 30 years over something that had been going on since eternity. Now, sometimes Trinitarians get around that by saying, well, the word God really just refers to the Father. But if God is only the Father, then the doctrine of the Trinity has failed. Jesus is not God. And that's the problem with passages like this one. To make sense of them, you have to say that God is the Father and the Father is God, that the two are identical. And that leaves Jesus out because it's saying that only the Father is God. And that's the only way you can read that and make sense from it. And there are plenty of other passages just like that have this same message. So the conclusion, Luke 2 verse 52, shows that Jesus isn't God. Next time you read it, remember that. And that goes on to another point, which is it's one of lots and lots of verses which you overlook if you're a Trinitarian. When you read it, lots of people overlook them. So when you're reading through the Bible, if you notice one of these verses, think about it, because if you're aware, if you're looking out, you'll see many, many verses like that. So when you read the Bible, look at the detail. Don't spend the time thinking about what your church has told you. Look at the Bible and look at the detail that's actually written in it. Well, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll press the like button. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We've got a website. You can get in touch with us on that, and you can leave comments. We hope you will leave comments after this video, and we'll take a look at them, see what you have to say.